live.
Oh, geez, right?
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
How ready were you?
I was ready. I was just like, notice that my glasses are dirty.
Oh, no.
No one can see it.
The dirty glasses cast. Yeah, right.
Dirty glasses cast.
Well, we'll zoom in. I'll zoom the camera slowly
gross.
in
Oh, let me
through the course of the...
Wait, sit next to you. Let me slide over this way so I'm not covered by chat.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get on either side of the chat.
There we go.
A slight reposition. Exciting premium content. All right.
There. How's that sound coming through?
Good. A little bit closer. Yeah, a little closer. There we go.
I feel like I spent all my life with the camera in front of me.
Right. Oh, yeah, you've been doing that.
Yeah.
Recording lessons and stuff. Or is it Zoom lessons?
It's Zoom lessons.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, fun. I mean, they're not bad, but I mean, like, I've got I had 2 or 3 a week. No, sorry, 2 or 3 a day for the past week.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
it's just yeah. It used to be 2 a week,
right.
tops. Now it's 2 or 3 a day for the past.
Wow.
I enjoy them, but it's just
How big are the? How many students usually?
It depends on the level. I mean, sometimes you get between sometimes you get 30, 40, 50. 60 even in the middle of the day, and then low level ones you're just it's 9 people in this, or super high level ones you're just hello normal 11 people, or the usual 11 people.
Oh wow.
But I mean, they're all fun.
Anyway. Let's go. Come to Japan for the glamorous world of English teaching.
Exactly. Yeah, that's about all we can do. Yeah. Right.
Unless you're going to do IT.
There's that. Yeah.
Or translate email, but bots will be replacing you soon.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right. Well, excellent. Yeah.
Next on the Japan cast. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I've got some horrible ideas for the next list after 750 for the 1000 or whatever we do.
Oh, right.
For Oathmark, I've got some horrible ideas. It's going. I think I'm going to be playing the most orc-like dwarf army ever.
Oh, really?
they're going to go real funky.
All orcs all the time. No, the only thing I've done for our Oathmark thing is I put together those 10 very burly elf.
Oh yeah,
somethings, right? And I was looking at them going, kind of a shame I used all of these, right? Because they would just stick some orc heads on them, paint them an orky skin color, and they would make perfect, just orc line breakers.
Yeah,
because those,
that's cool.
especially the male barbarian, like I said last week, North Star, come on, you needed to bulk up the female ones. They're smaller than the regular soldiers. Just what is this, pasta noodles? Right? Right. Anyway, they look cool. You put them next to the male barbarians, and you're put some orc heads on those super muscle barbarians, and they look pretty cool.
Did the male arms fit on the females? No. Oh, they did.
Well, okay, no, I take it back. They do.
Sometimes, yeah.
As interchangeable as I said the North Star kits are, the one combination that, in my opinion, doesn't really work is barbarian arms, male barbarian arms on anything else.
Oh,
because they're just so huge. You're that looks a little silly. I mean, the pieces all fit together, right?
Right.
And I did put a couple just when I was test fit and stuff. I made 5 female and 5 male barbarians. I'm just mixing them together. I did put some male arms on the female barbarians, and I'm it works. That arm is the size of that leg, right? So it's
we might be able to get the heads off. The plastic glue is pretty good about that.
Yeah.
If it was super glue, you'd have to freeze them and try to snap them off. But you can probably loosen the heads. That sounds cool though. But orc barbarians.
Yeah, because they're all fur clad and stuff, and they look pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and the winter thing. Yeah.
That's why I went with the barbarians for that. I mean, they look okay. They look mine look like a very burly executioner elf heads, because I went with kind of the conical helm with the face scarf, and they're all decked out in fur. So I'm that is a burly looking elf. But they're just sitting in a pile on my table because I haven't been able to do anything with them.
Right.
Putting them together was the extent of what I could do last week.
Yeah. So I've been seeing the Speed Paint 2.0.
Yeah.
So Army Painter released, and I think they just did this because of that kind of nonsense that the one Vallejo, the one Vallejo guy was pushing on social media. Oh, they reactivate, and it wasn't true, but the Vallejo wanted to launch their thing with some advantage. Oh. So Army Painter released a 2.0 new formulation, and they did a even wider color range. So that's in pre-order now. So a lot of YouTubers are getting these giant sets. And
where's ours?
Yeah, right. And then painting the caps of all the paint so you can see a demo of the colors. There's some really good stuff.
Nice.
They're really bright, though. The colors are really intense and really bright in a lot of the Army Painter stuff. The Vallejo stuff is pretty subtle, and sometimes you might want to actually do 2 coats of it, even though it is that separating paint. But yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, we got to get some of that involved. I really, but if the first formulation gets cheap, then I'll try that. You know,
yeah, sure. I think it was like Dana Howell did something where she figured out, okay, there is this maybe reactivation problem, but you know what? That's because we're trying to use it like a regular paint.
Right.
Hey, if you mix the speed paint with the paint, it doesn't reactivate, right? So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see, and so I want to get my hands on some of that because there's some colors that I really like, some things that they did really well that rival what Citadel did with some of their leather color
about,
and stuff.
45% of the cost.
Yeah, like half, Well, not quite half. I think it's like 600 yen to 1,000 yen per bottle. You know, for Citadel, the contraster is about 1,000.
Yeah, you're looking at like 1060.
Yeah, so like $10 to like $5, almost like $5.50 maybe.
Yeah, and I don't even want to know what the conversion rate would be.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, and I think the prices, because we can't get it, nobody's stocking it. It's like coming maybe import from Amazon. The prices are a little high. So if we got it domestically, or if we got it in Europe, or
like the one thing I will actually buy from the GW store is the Citadel paints, because other places give you points, but like the one GW, they're like, okay, buy 9 get 1 free. So I'm kind of like, okay, fine.
Yeah, and I noticed too, a lot of the retailers now are marking them up. So,
oh really?
Yeah, all the Warhammer stuff is marked up because they have points cards that give you like 10% back of the price back in points. So they're either 10 or 20% over retail. So for Games Workshop stuff, that's insane.
Hello, buy like this $180 box that makes 1 model.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they broke 200. That's 200 US. That's brilliant. Let's take a look in the chat real quick. Ooh. Hey, Abyss and Matt, good to see you guys.
GW makes its resin out of boiled down pies.
Yes. We got some GW news coming in. I'm not sure what this means. It could mean something very bad, or it could just be a virtue signal. So we'll discuss it.
Isn't virtue signal also very bad?
Well, yeah,
anyway, all right.
When corporations do it, yes, it is. All right, but so not a real active week. There was a little bit of, we'll just do this ahead of time. There's a company that was hoping for the new OGL to go through because it had specific wording about NFTs and things, but because it didn't, they're still going to move ahead, and they're doing a game, like some sort of licensed game based on D&D that's going to be NFT based. And they said, well, if they're staying with the old OGL, then it has they haven't said anything about NFT, so full speed ahead. So that was an interesting angle to take. So yeah, because they haven't updated anything, that means newer things haven't been discussed or kind of clarified. So NFTs, ahoy, get your water deep art.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Get that beholder. It's gonna be valuable.
You can't just say blockchain or NFT or AI and have your thing magically be good.
Yeah, right.
Although that seems to be what people are thinking, right?
Yeah, I just saw a headline too. I got like 10% into the article, but said that basically OpenAI is going to be a loss leader on all this chat AI bullshit, and just like take the loss as people try to develop it and then drop out, because they're already offering it for kind of enterprise and corporate levels, and it's at a 90% discount right now because no one wants to, no one really knows exactly how to implement it, what they're going to do with it, how useful it's going to be, so they're not going to pay this premium price. So they're already at this like 90% of what they wanted to charge for it. So who knows what's going to happen? But they've already got the OpenAI has all the backing from Microsoft and your favorite, the CEO of Twitter, and everybody is backing them. So
I come here for a good time. Why are you hitting me with this shit?
I'm sorry. Let's move on. Get away. Let's get back on the tabletop. We fell off there for a minute. All right.
All right. Cool.
Oh, hey. Oh, my glasses are a little messed up too. Donald, how's it going? Donald Kelly is in the chat. So let's let me get on mic and let's get started.
All right.
Right. Yes, I think I need an updated prescription. So let's do this. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the weekly, Fallout Skirmish and RPG bundle. I don't know why I'm leading with that, but
Okay.
and recycling Warhammer.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
here's their new initiative that's going to save the world, save the planet.
Sure.
Corvus Belli is using new plastic resin.
Okay.
One ring expansion, and a few more days to get that GM's Day sale on drive-thru.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so not a lot of controversy.
I'm fine with that. That's fine. Yeah. Not everything has to be controversial.
All right, well, let's start with the post-apocalypse then. So there is a bundle available, and this is nice. The starter sets are a little pricey, and I wasn't sure about the quality of the miniatures, so this is a really nice thing that came up. Fallout, the Wasteland Warfare, their skirmish game, based in the video game Fallout universe by Modifius, is doing a bundle where they're offering a ton of terrain, basically everything they've released digitally, all the STLs that they've released digitally, plus print and play, all the counters and cards and rulers and everything that would come with the starter set. They're giving you as PDFs, and then plus several of the campaign books.
Oh.
So it's a huge bundle, and it's also tied into. So they also released an RPG that you can kind of use the miniatures for. You know, you can kind of move back and forth and create characters, and also play them in the skirmish game.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So a little bit of flexibility. So for $18, you get basically everything that they've done digitally for the Fallout Wasteland Warfare.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I wonder what that would cost you materials though.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, fair enough. I'm not complaining about, hey, $18 for their entire digital library of this, and that's pretty.
But yeah,
good.
if you want to print on, or like print on stickers and put it on cardstock and stuff to make it more useful, it's not going to be super cheap, but it's quite an offering. Especially if you wanted to try it out, because you can go, I think, as little as just $3 and get the basic books, so you can take a look at the rules and things.
And then you can just print out little paper counters and stuff.
Right. Yeah, you can definitely improvise to give it a shot. The nice thing is that there's a ton of campaign supplements. This includes the campaign handbook supplement, and there are many narrative elements in each of the matches, meaning that you can play solo, solo, cooperative, or competitive.
Right.
Yeah.
Or so there's say VS.
Right. And all of the books are a series of linked scenarios. You can either play one-off or play as linked connected missions. So a lot of offering. And then the roleplay book expansion, the game expansion, includes character creation and 3 scenarios, and also a standalone one-shot that you can tie into the short campaign that they offer. So the nice thing, I was happy to see, because that's the thing that the starter boxes and stuff always have, is the tokens and all of the cards and things that usually don't have any sort of access to unless you buy that box. So and you also get the iconic Red Rocket gas station in both pre and post destroyed condition to print, so you can print it in both forms. But yeah, that's a nice thing to see that they are doing it. So the list is considerable for all of the
that is a
digital,
pretty big list.
Yeah, the digital stuff that they're doing. So this goes on until March 18th, and of course, because it's Humble Bundle, it goes to support the Trees, People, Water, and Safe Drinking Water organization. And so a ton of stuff, and they've been kind of, after they release the game, kind of gradually releasing STL files, and sometimes teasing you with like a single like piece of scattered terrain or something to print to see how they did. So that would be interesting if Modifius moves into this in the future, because they did do that with Mutant Chronicles. They did the iconic characters from Mutant Chronicles as STLs, and they just put them in part of a Humble Bundle when they were getting rid of the RPGs. Kind of getting their last little boost before they drop the license. And if Modifius is the one that kind of starts to push this forward, that will be interesting if they're always developing digital files along with physical sets and things you can buy. But I haven't seen the quality of the I know people have complained a little bit about the skirmish game. It's very fussy with tokens, so it's good they include tokens, because there's a lot of like little things to keep track of. But that's the only criticism that I've heard. I don't know anything else kind of beyond that for the game. But if you want to try it out, it's a very cheap way to do that.
It's a cheap way to do it.
Yeah, so link in the description. All right, well, Games Workshop has started a new initiative, a trial of this new initiative to save the planet, because I'll get to their I'll get to their cheeseball statement soon enough. But for a limited time, there will be a trial in 28 UK Games Workshop stores where you can safely scrap your sprues, models, and paint pots. So they're recycling plastic. And so that sea of gray. So basically, you can eliminate your pile of shame in one fell swoop.
You could. You could just be like, there you go. I'm done.
Just hand it over and let them turn it back into whatever. So So they're saying that this plastic, of course, has been long time recyclable. It's very pure plastic, and it works in normal recycling. And this is the first time that they brought a specific recycling program for these items in-house. So starting the end of March, hobbyists can drop off all their used plastics. So here's the quote. The why is obvious. Looking after Terra is everyone's responsibility. Well, tell that to Horus.
He's looking after Terra. He just wants to get the Emperor off it, right?
Right. Well, Terra got pretty fucked up when he visited. Right, but so us included, this is a small thing that can that we can do to help the effort. So whatever. It's and the odd thing is, like, most recycling is actually very wasteful. It's not very efficient. So recycling this plastic is, it might be more of a gesture than actually something that is actually conserving any sort of, I don't know. Maybe there is like a 7-mile island of used used plastic sprues from Games Workshop floating in the ocean.
I haven't bought a lot of Games Workshop, any Games Workshop models, and I don't know how long, but looking at people's pictures, right, of the new sprues.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of plastic. On that. And I've even thought that when I've been like assembling Frostgrave stuff, I'm just like, this is a row of little heads for a giant chunk of thing. Like, there's a lot of plastic.
The way they're
sprues,
designing,
right?
Designing them now, because they're not just simple structure. They're curved.
Yeah, the GW ones, they are.
Yeah, they're very.
Like, I swear those things are put together with CADs, so that you can't convert your models. But that's like a tangent, right? Like, the GW sprues are. Maybe that's even to like conserve. I don't know if it's conserved,
maybe,
right?
Yeah, maybe. So they can have fewer sprues in a kit.
Compared that to like the North Star kits that I love, like it's the classic straight sprues, and sometimes you get like this big gap, and I'm like, there's just a row of 5 heads. Yeah, right. So, okay, sure. Whether it's a gesture, whether it actually will do something, I think this is kind of a step you had to take.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Because how much plastic from a kit actually goes to a model?
Oh, right? That's true. A lot of the material is wasted.
And unless you make sprue goo, which you can't use an entire sprue for, or unless you recycle your sprues into like scatter terrain I-beam stuff, what else are you doing with it?
Yeah. So the odd part about this initiative is, you bring your plastic to them and they recycle it, whatever that means, and you get nothing. You don't even get like a little sticker or a poster or something.
Jeremy, you shouldn't have to get something for protecting Terra. It is your sworn duty.
It's just
right?
knowing.
It's just knowing.
Yeah, right. It's that feeling you get. Right.
Yeah.
No, but it seems like to encourage this kind of thing and for them to handle it, they would want to have some sort of interaction. But no, there'll just probably be a bin marked recycling.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm imagining, right? I'm just going to imagine like here at like the electronic stores, right? They have like kind of the bins that are for like recycling your fluorescent tubes, your ink cartridges, whatever. That's what I'm imagining. Just a cardboard bin where you drop your things. And I hope it's not like the recycling here where it's like, here's this rubbish thing, and this side is for PET bottles, and this side is for cans. And then after you drop your thing and you look at it, you're like, motherfucker, it goes to the same garbage bag, right? What's the point?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
I think a lot of recycling is just a gesture. The statement goes on to say, the plastic used in Citadel miniatures is of very high quality and purity. So there are loads of uses for recycled materials elsewhere in the plastic chain, including garden planters, plastic playground equipment, and even table tennis tables, which you could also play Warhammer on.
You could.
But that was kind of weird. So because Citadel miniatures require such high quality materials, we are not yet able to turn old sprues collected from the stores back into new models, but we're investigating this in the future. And so I think that is, I mean, because you already have some of these plastic resin things like the CeoCast we talked about for a while. All the materials, like all of the sprues and channels that would get cut off that don't get shipped to the customers can actually be remelted down. This plastic, I don't think the HIPS plastic can be. It has to go through another process and become a lower grade plastic. But if they're investigating this, that means they, might want to shift towards this cheaper way to, like, I guess the material isn't, it's the tooling of the molds, it's their big expense. The plastic maybe isn't, but eventually someday we're just going to be getting, the same old, it's going to be like bananas. You're eating the same banana over and over again. We're going to be getting the same plastic for the GW models again. And I just cut this off the sprue and now I've got it back.
Well, my feeling is, okay, why not? Right? Like, okay, I wasn't a fan of it's your sacred duty to protect Terra. Like, I'm not a fan of corporations kind of doing the in-universe thing.
Yeah.
Like, I realize some people are. Not for me, right? But, okay, I do like what GW said. They basically said, okay, ignoring the high-quality material stuff, just like, we can't recycle this plastic into new miniatures yet, right? But we don't want you to just throw it away, right? Like, this plastic can be used in other places, just farther down the line. Right. And if they do actually are able to, like, recycle the plastic, then good on them. Maybe that'll mean a reduction in cost for the models, right?
Or an awesome tax break.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, sure. I'm sure this is part of it, right?
Right, yeah. Right, yeah. So the article that talked about this announcement ends in and also a cheesy line. So we'll be able to play our small part in making the worlds of Warhammer a little greener beyond the presence of orcs and goblins.
That's the only green
It just
thing
gets worse.
That's the only green
Just gets worse. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know why this was even worth announcing. And like I said, like I think it's already been proven that unless these recycling programs are insanely efficient, I would say maybe like the Japanese PET bottle recycling system, so much energy is lost in that process. It's like, well, what are you even doing? If you can actually dispose of this stuff responsibly, that's going to be more efficient than the insane amount of petroleum and stuff that's going to take to turn this same plastic into So I think some systems in some countries maybe have that under control, but like the U.S., it's already been proven that like recycling is just a scam in the U.S. and they don't even do any. I mean, it all goes into landfills.
Getting off topic, but like, is that a scam of the recycling thing, or just like the U.S. being shitty in general?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess the sanitation system being a little broken and captured. Anyhow, moving on to more plastic news.
Oh, all right.
So now we're talking about Corvus Belli, a much more a company much more worthy of supporting and much more kind of innovative in what they want to do and how they want to like make their customers happy. They've stuck with metal miniatures probably and very high detailed, very complicated metal miniatures longer than a lot of companies would have, but recently have been doing things with resin kits. And now they've just announced that they will be doing a new material in their range of miniatures. It's a plastic resin, so a mixture of resin and PVC. So they've been testing this for a while and using the external supplier Unicool, which sounds so cool, like the cool one.
The one cool. Unicool.
One cool. So they've been testing this material for a while, and now we're finally releasing it. It's going to give them a high level of detail and durability as opposed to conventional resin, harder than thermoplastic, but not fragile. It's actually a little flexible. Okay. So, and especially the Infinity miniatures are famous for their little antennas and little rabbit ears and little, air spoilers and things on their mechs
that just break off.
Yeah. Just like if those are metal, well, and actually getting them on there, like super gluing them on there, is not fun. The only thing that this doesn't give us, because it is plastic resin, is you're still using super glue for assembly. Right. And that's not my favorite thing, especially when doing small things. I glue things to my thumb and not to the model.
Much like, more. All right, got it. And then you're like,
and also the fume.
Use some tweezers.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. If I did it well, if I had a logical approach. But this material doesn't require any other special considerations. It's not, the cleaning and preparation and everything of it doesn't require you to do anything different than you were doing before with the metal or the previous resin. And probably it might be a bit safer than the previous resin as far as the airborne dust. Yeah. So they will be releasing alternative versions of the Marat and Hassassin AR plastic resin in this year, 2023, in a special ITS special pack in April. But they will, yes, and they will continue next month. They'll continue to use metal, thermoplastic, or plastic resin, depending on the kit. So, based on what the requirements are, because I think this plastic resin is probably lighter, and so when they did larger models and they did them all in metal, I've had some biker units and stuff that are pretty significant chunks of metal that go together that way. But so they're always trying to innovate, but they're not a huge company, so this is like the R&D is very expensive for them. These experiments are actually very expensive for them because it's but it's nice that they're thinking about the customer and making the models better, easier to assemble, and better for the.
Well, might also be cheaper for them, right?
Yes.
Well, I was also thinking, a couple things. Like one, thinking of heft. I'm thinking like flashback into like playing Warhammer 2nd Edition when with Tyranids and like one of those old metal carnifexes. I mean, like put that thing in a sack and you just brain someone like a sock full of nickels, right? Them things were hefty, right? But the other thing, like, I wonder if these smaller companies are able to make these more agile movements as opposed to like the behemoths like GW because of the number of layers of bureaucracy and scale and stuff they have to go through. I don't know. I know nothing about business, but
that is possible. And if they just if they do some testing, they can implement things much faster and kind of keep things more balanced. They don't get stuck because GW is still stuck. I mean, they're still selling metal miniatures from like 30 years ago almost that these, like really old sculpts and things that who knows why they haven't spent the time to kind of bring them up.
They're not cost leaders or
like
like I bet you if you broke open a box like Ketachan Jungle Fighters, they'd be the same ones we used in like 2nd edition. Like all right, really?
Well, that was the funny thing about the Sisters of Battle. Like they finally released that plastic kit and it forever the armies had been all metal with a few like resin characters. Just insane how slowly, and it's so strange because they going off on a GW thing again. Corvus Belli, we should be supporting Corvus Belli, but they it's amazing that they'll include rules for models and rule books that are just ridiculous. That like practically no one wants to even deal with these old models anymore. They're clunky. They're not well made. They don't like even fit in with the scale of what the newer models are. It's really silly that they actually do that. That they're not more kind of efficiently keeping track of, because they play with the balancing of the game and everything to get people to buy the new models, to keep kind of pushing things forward. But they have stuff that they could go back to and refresh that would also generate money, but I don't know, maybe they see that as too
people buy the new stuff,
not flashy enough, and so we'll see. But so keep an eye out if you're looking to refresh your Infinity ranks. Then there'll be some new materials for you to play with, but keep that super glue handy. And one more thing I wanted to mention is another new release. The One Ring has revealed their Lone Lands expansion. So they did do an expansion, kind of. That was a collection of a campaign that was based on from the Kickstarter. Okay. So it was a Kickstarter kind of pledge level or a stretch goal that they reached. Right. And this looks to be very similar in scale and everything. So it's going to have of course the great Martin Grip illustrations, and also the I forget the other artists that they did for the pencil illustrations inside. It's gorgeous. These One Ring books are really gorgeous from Free League, and it's going to be a compendium of 6 brand new adventures. You can play as lone adventurers, or you can string lone adventures, or string them together, or kind of drop pieces of them in your own campaign. And they're all set in the lone lands of the northwestern Middle Earth. The Great Northwest. The Middle. Yeah. And the campaign, the timing of this also fits into the time of the One Ring setting. So it'll all be around the year 2965 for whatever that means for whoever. Yep. But so this is very similar to their Runes of the Lost Realm. And they're anticipating it to be about the same price, about $40.
Well, that's a hardback book, right?
Yeah. It's a beautiful hardback. So that's good. And a little bit from their press release. Now they had gone on far into the lone lands where there were no people left, no inns, and the roads grew steadily worse. Not far ahead were dreary hills, rising higher and higher, dark with trees. On some of them, old castles with an evil look, as if they had been built by wicked people. So now you can delve deeper into that wonderful place.
Yeah, well, it's called the Lone Lands, not the Happy Lands.
Right.
Yeah, so not the Together Lands. There it is. Yeah.
Not a good place to be lands. So a few of the adventures: a troll hole, if ever there was one; kings of the little kingdoms, messing around in boats, not to strike without need, and wonder of the northern world. So all of these can kind of play standalone or have connecting material that can hook them together. And then the one that seems to be kind of the climax of this collection is the Quest of Amon Gurthros, and that is directly battling with ancient evils. So it sounds fun. And if you're already doing One Ring and you're looking for more pre-written stuff to run or just inspiration for your campaign, should be good. They've reliably. I haven't played. I've read through, but haven't played One Ring. But really want to try out the mechanics because they add some a little bit of a corruption mechanic and things to the Year Zero system. So get those.
Does it use the Year Zero system? Then?
Yeah, it's a modified version of it. But yeah, everything is using.
Well, I'm more interested in it now. I won't get it, but I'm more interested in it now.
And they have evil dice you can roll. I have evil dice black.
Is that
with
what they're called? Evil dice?
I think they're. I forget I forget what they are called. They are evil
Doom dice, bad dice,
something you have eyes on them. They have creepy eyes on them.
Creepy eyes.
And the last thing I wanted to mention, it's almost up, but the GM's Day sale is still going on Drive-Thru RPG. So this is a good opportunity, 30% off. So kind of the biggest discount for a lot of things, and that includes physical and PDFs.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
everything is marked down. So all the print-on-demand stuff that is provided by Drive-Thru also has this discount. So hundreds of publishers, thousands of titles to download. So I guess March 4th was GM's Day. I missed that. Yeah, so we missed that in the cast. So, but that.
I hope all you players gave your forever GM a present.
Yes, exactly.
Because if you didn't, what's the point?
So yes, so show some appreciation to your GM or a good excuse to try a new system. So some of the things that were just immediately on the list that I noticed: Cyberpunk Red, Cepheus, the Deluxe Enhanced Edition, RuneQuest Starter Set, Worlds Without Number, One Ring, Strider Mode, which is their solo kind of adaptation. Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master, Cyborg Core Rules, Traveler Explorers Edition, Ironsworn, Starforged.
Nice.
Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, the Blade Runner RPG Core Book, One Ring Core Rules, Alien Core Rules,
nice.
5 Torches Deep, Cyberpunk Red Data Pack, and a whole huge selection of battle maps and all kinds of the accessories for
Cool.
for GMs to run. And we got a little on Twitter. We were informed. I should have started this at the top of the cast, but we were informed by. A specific publisher. I think they noticed the cast from last time, and we're talking about the return of RuneQuest.
Oh,
and we were notified that by our Telsarian that Cyberpunk Red has been in Japanese, and previous editions have been in Japanese the whole time. They sent me a link to the sent me a link to the Japanese bookstore. Said, "Hey, we didn't go anywhere. We didn't have to come back. We didn't have to be localized. We're still doing it." So So Telsarian Games sent me the surugaya.com link to Cyberpunk Red rulebook. And the translation of the Japanese product description was pretty funny. Cyberpunk Red is a masterpiece of tabletop role-playing set in the dark future.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
of course it is. Of course it is.
Fine.
A masterpiece. But so yeah, we want to make that correction. So we're not giving any favoritism to Chaosium. Our Telsarian has always been in Japanese, and Cyberpunk has always been in Japanese.
Sure, it doesn't mean it's popular.
Oh!
All right, expect another angry tweet. Sorry.
Oh, just when we were trying to mend fences.
Okay, like okay, that was an aside, but like, I forget what metrics got measured on, but like, it's been shown that Call of Cthulhu is
Number one.
Is number one, but I was going to maybe clarify that in terms of like, okay, possibly Western first, right? Because I couldn't tell you if there was a Japanese, like originally written Japanese TTRPG that is more popular than Call of Cthulhu.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is, but I wouldn't. Because I don't have the ability to.
Because I think even D&D is more popular than Sword World, like their native one. Yeah.
I don't know, but like Call of Cthulhu is for some reason.
Yeah,
the most popular one.
Yeah, and take a look at the interview I did with Matthias, the creator of Cthulhu. We talked a little bit about that, about what there is about Japan. I mean, I think it's that there's an interesting correlation between Japanese xenophobia and cosmic horror that I think really works for them, and also because Japan has the spirit world and like hauntings and things that built into their already their psyche, their religious background, that would make it a little bit different from how like Western Christian countries would respond to that. But it was an interesting discsion.
Sure, I was going to be rude and just say it's generally the tentacles.
Okay. Oh, tentacles! I forgot about that part. Yeah,
that was my first guess,
right.
Based on the cover of some of the stuff. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yes.
Let me put this back. Right. Anyway.
Yes. But so that was all I wanted to inform you. So I'll put a link to that as well. And any of those links, or most of those links, will help us. We'll get a little piece of anything that you purchase. So feel free to support us just with shopping on drive-thru or the Humble Bundle as well.
Thanks to based on revenue from those links, that's how we were able to get like Blaster number 2 and Blaster number 3, which have Sludge Wargame in it, which my miniatures are still sitting in a box.
Right.
Anyway, I appreciate being able to buy hard copies of that.
Yeah. So that helps a lot. That helps us buy new games and actual physical copies of rule books that are available only on drive-thru for the print on demand. So thank you very much for that support in the past. Yeah, we've had some great
purchases.
Yeah, great. Yeah, there's been some great things that we've gotten, and a lot of support when we post these links. People have clicked on them, so thank you very much for doing that. So that's all for this week. So where can people find you?
On Twitter, as always, it's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, where I don't even remember what I'm talking about on there currently.
All right.
It's all just mixed together, one giant churn of just like the site is falling apart. Due to I won't say who.
Oh no! Yes.
Tabletop role-playing stuff, parroting crap, just like one big melange of stuff, right? So, more importantly, where can people find you?
Oh, nice. Well, I'm still drawing my single-panel gag cartoon, so Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch, and I draw that live once a week on Thursday. That would be Wednesday evening. So Thursday on this side of the world and Wednesday evening in the West. And so I draw the cartoon and eat snacks. So this last time I did a comparison. It was a showdown between the Noir chocolate cookie and Oreos.
Okay. Yep.
And unfortunately, I think Oreos won. Yeah, that sucks. I thought for sure that Japan...
Did you factor in price?
Well, no. You get many more. The package is actually surprisingly bigger. So since Nabisco, here's some little background, deep dive information. Nabisco was actually being produced by the same company that the Yamazaki Biscuit Company. They either lost the contract or decided they wanted to compete with their own brands. So all of the Nabisco stuff is made in Southeast Asia now. Right, so the quality, and I think it's gotten more expensive. So everything is smaller, and it's just changed very much. So all those Ritz crackers and everything are little tiny packages now in the stores. But the domestic Japanese biscuits are great. They really do a good job. But Oreos was it was a weak imitation, and because I think they don't like super chocolatey stuff in Japan, so that's the problem. Got to get that cocoa in there. All right, anyhow, so if you like what we're doing with the
cookie rambles,
if you want more cookie talk, please visit upturntable.com for everything we're doing. I just posted a flip through of the Oathmark rulebook and an unboxing of one of the kits, so the Goblin Slaves, so you can see like how many sprues you get, what the sprues look like. I did some detail, and then I assembled the first rank. So you can kind of see what they how they're intended to look. And the thing that I really noticed doing that and kind of talking about it is, compared to the older fantasy like Warhammer, or even what Mantic is doing with Kings of War, I like that there's much more room on the bases with the miniatures.
They're 25mm square bases.
Yeah, and so the miniatures, they're not like touching each other. Yeah, so when you rank up some of the older, chunkier models, they are basically, they've got their swords up each other's asses, and they're all shoulder to shoulder. So I like the look of what North Star did with those.
Plus the goblins are smaller, because sorry, I put those big hulking barbarians, which are intended to be used for Frostgrave. I put them on the 25mm square bases, and due to how I went with all two-handed weapons, due to how some of them are posed, you got to be on the end, because you're not going to rank up with anybody. Even though I did kind of arrange them before gluing them down, but I do. Slightly mixed feelings, because when I put together the elf soldiers, I kind of wanted like a phalanx, and they're pretty widely. They're not like hugely widely spaced, and I'm like,
I see what you.
There's a lot of gaps between you guys, right? But it does make ranking them up much easier, because there's just more space in between the models on those.
And when you're intended to remove them from the trays or remove them from their configurations as casualties, I think that works well. They're just
easier to grab off,
easy to deal with. Yeah, but that's true. If you wanted to, get a phalanx and get a shield while you're not, get much bigger shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're more real scale, so that was very interesting. All right, and so if you'd like to support what we're doing and hear more of these tangents and ramblings and cookies and minute and base sizes, please become a weakling.
Yeah. Spelled with 2 E's.
2 E's, patreon.com/upturntable. And support us. Tell us what we're doing wrong or what you'd like to see us do.
More cookie talk.
and follow us on the our Oathmark escalation campaign. So it's going to get ugly. I think next month, if you check Chris's Twitter, it's going to be complaining about goblin magic.
Oh,
mostly.
probably. And how cheap those things are. Like, you assembled a rank of goblins. That cost you what, 30 points?
Yes.
5 models cost you 30 points, which is like an elf.
Yeah, they're pretty unruly though, so they may not. I may only get to throw stones. I may not get very close to you.
Those stones will probably wipe out my army again. Yeah.
Well, in combination with Sunder, I hope it. Yeah, I hope
Yikes.
Anyhow, so that's all for this week. Yep. We'll be back again next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right.
Be right back.
Be right back. right. Was that extended 30 seconds? So, hey, everyone in chat, how is it going? Excellent. Yeah, good to see you guys. Oh, Mr. Shades is here. All right, Mr. Shades. Sorry, I missed that at the beginning. And Orcus. Very cool. Oh, Donald Kelly asked about Hell Piercers. Yeah, I was just taking a look at that. That's Sandy Pug. I recognize that that company, but the Kickstarter page looks great. They have a lot of demonstrations and talking about tactical but narrative rules, and the artwork is very cool. So I guess that's it. Just in its first days as a full month for Hell Piercers. It looks good. I'll take a look at that, and maybe we'll talk about that. We still got some time, so maybe next week we can give that some attention. Very cool. Nice. So how's everyone doing? Get out of here, Matt, you and your Mando. I don't know what's going on with that show. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, the thing that I've come to realize, and the thing that I think went wrong with Star Wars is supposed to be stupid. Star Wars is stupid, and all of this like fake, like Lucas is a genius and the hero's journey and all this stuff. It was just a bunch of California nonsense to explain the genius behind this like runaway success, which no one has ever been able to duplicate with something like the original Star Wars trilogy. But I think the stuff that's come since, and even the original creator was not able to capture that same. He made a ton of money with the prequels, but he wasn't unable to capture that same kind of pop culture success. There was somebody that was doing an interesting thing about the Star Wars knockoff movies. Like his channel is always like Terminator knockoffs, Star Wars knockoffs, everything that is becomes a popular genre, all the knockoff movies that happen. And the interesting thing, and how you really know that the prequel trilogy had zero cultural, like pop cultural impact, is that there were no knockoffs. Like it didn't inspire this whole new, run of Corman, level, space adventure, space opera type stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what's bugging me about about the Mandalorian. But the one thing I will say, because I love Matt, and Matt is a wonderful person, so I don't want to pick a fight over the Mandalorian. But that the writing for that show proves that the Star Wars holiday special is in canon, because the quality of the characters, like you could put any of the characters from that holiday special, their performances, their dialogue into the Mandalorian or any of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and it would not be noticeable as different. There's such garbage. It's just like they throw a bunch of comedian cameos into the, I mean, I don't know. It's just silly how I don't know, but like I'm saying, it's supposed to be stupid, so I have to get my mind. And I don't think people are doing that justification. It's for kids. It's supposed to be for kids. I don't think that's really the. I mean, it's just supposed to be stupid and simple. And so when they overcomplicate it and they're building all this, they're doing world building and lore. I think that's where Star Wars gets really uninteresting, because it's not very well defined. And so many people have had their way with weird Star Wars stuff that, like, even just like the Mandalorians, it doesn't even make any sense. Like if you go and look at any lore videos or any backgrounds about this, some of the stuff that's created in the extended universe that I guess has been voided now, but whatever. And I guess so the canon is the Clone Wars cartoon, which is not great as far as like world building and stuff. But the reason for those helmet shape is those were aliens with that shaped head, basically, that they were covering. And so now it's just a bunch of humanoid people, and I don't know. I don't understand like what it's not very clear, not very interesting what they're doing with the background, and they're making it very bizarre because there were 3 Mandalorians left. Maybe the timeline is all screwed up, but there were 3 Mandalorians left, and now there's a bunch of kids now, and you put a helmet on a kid and you say never take this helmet off, but it's a kid-sized helmet, so they're obviously going to take the helmet off. It's very silly. But there was some good effects and stuff. They had some nice like set piece stuff and some interesting designs. Like always for the Mandalorian, the previs like illustrations and the credits I like more than the episode. It's like, wow, if that was what we saw, that would be very fun, or what that could have been. So I don't know. It just seems like Star Wars is really lost as far as what they think it should be, and it's all in this like middle ground of what they're same thing they're doing with Star Trek, and so they're corrupting into this weird. I don't know, but the thing that I think is the problem is there's no limitations, maybe except for like scheduling and time, that any of these people are working against. So the writers and the digital artists and even the actors and everybody that's working on these shows, there's no limitation. So the creativity is very, very low, and it's just throwing a bunch of crap. It's like, I want to do this. I want to see an ice spider. I want to see this. I want to see that. And they don't even care about how that actually feels or fits into stories. And they can do anything they want. They can just name something, and the previous guys draw it out, and the CG guys make it possible. So without any restriction, the creativity is really bad, and things are not focused at all. It's just kind of all over the place. So I think that's the thing we're seeing now with a lot of those Disney shows. It's just like they can do anything they want, so they just do a bunch of nothing, a bunch of nonsense that's just the writer's vanity or self-inserts or all this just nonsense that we're dealing with. So things are not very focused, and that's what The Mandalorian felt like at the beginning is, oh, maybe they'll have a focused, stripped down show where it's just the man with no name in Beskar, coming into these situations. But no, they have to do, because it's a streaming thing, it has to have this overarching narrative. It can't just be episodic. It has to be serial, and it has to be a story that doesn't make any sense, and keep bringing back characters. So yeah, so spoilers, but you get hit with this pretty much right away. So R5-D4 is now the astromech droid in the Naboo fighter converted thing that the Mandalorian is flying. It's like, whatever. A whole bunch of coincidence. It's a small universe anyhow. But no, there's some interesting things, but overall it's just all over the place, and I don't understand why the writers are having so much trouble with, okay, go here and do this. That's a kind of a waste of time, but we're setting up this because we have to go here. It's like the way that they connect the dots and the writing on that show is just nonsense. It could be much better, much more refined. And I think Andor is a good example of that. Small scale and in one season of that show, they had a prison break, a heist, a prison break, and some other like major event that were all handled really well, and you had a build up. You had like these mini kind of climaxes to these like parts of a exciting parts. But I don't know, it's just funny. Anyhow, makes its cards. Wizards makes its cards out of babies. Let's see. So that's what we're talking about. The GW Resin, boiled down puppies. Matt said, yeah. So Donald Kelly. So yeah, we'll take a look at Hell Piercers. Definitely. And Orcus, good to see you. If you're still around, yeah, hope hiding upstairs from my in-laws. Well, I'm glad we can help you with giving you something to do while you're in hiding. The in-laws. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Mr. Shades is saying, I've heard more people use minis for RPG stuff over skirmish games. Yeah, I wonder how much, because definitely I think more people play RPGs than skirmish games, and just because of like it's two people and the space and the things required, the terrain and the boards and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that. And that's always a thing that's baited me in many times, and maybe Matt can sympathize with this. The Conan RPG, the Modifius Conan was coming out, and then the board game was coming out. Ooh, the miniatures for the board game will work well in the RPG, so it really gets you suckered in there. All right, nice. Oh, that's right. And Matt posted this in the group chat. Yeah, you're in space and everything, everything's fucked. Looks very funny. And that's that's such a common thing. Like, the abandoned spaceship is haunted house, or the trapped on a space station. Like, there's so many thinks that fits. I think that's a funny approach to a space game. Nice. Modifius is spamming me with ads about their Conan game ending in June. Oh yeah, right. They're running a sale. Yeah, that really sucks. That they're giving up that license. That's a frustrating thing about these licensed IPs, and I hope we're probably going to start seeing that eventually with Free League too, where they're going to give up some licenses that they don't have anything else to produce for, and that's a frustrating thing about IPs. Orcus says, I have said it, if you back this and you don't start and end every session with your space and everything is fucked, what are you even doing? Yes, that's the opening. The opening and ending of every session. That's great. But YouTube is going to not let you monetize it. That's great. Abyss said, I really wanted to like Mothership, but push those wacky patches and force Prona. Oh, and I don't care for either of those. Oh, I see. Yeah, so kind of the designer's politics came through a little bit too much in. And Chris even said that she wasn't excited by the mechanics of Mothership, and that's why we went right to Alien. That's why we went right to the Alien RPG, the Year Zero and the Panic Table and stuff were much more interesting. Yeah. Orcus says, rumor has it they found some of their cool momentum stones in stock and maybe offering them up soon. Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh yeah, I would love. I hope Modifius does find some of the stuff they produce. I still really want the Luna City police badge from their Mutant Chronicles campaign. Because it was in 2016, I think. I totally missed the Mutant Chronicles RPG Kickstarter. And they had some really fun stuff, some nice crowns, some cardinal crowns, coins that they made, and an actual medal with the inlay, the Luna City PD badge. I haven't even seen those popping up on eBay or anything. Dang. Yes, skeptical about whether the recycling program. Yeah. Orcus, is saying the models are made from high quality corpse starch. I mean, recycled plastic. Yeah, eventually they hopefully they will just be using. There'll be a variant of Soylent Green. Yeah, that's right. GW Minis, of course. GW Minis are people, says Matt. Yes. Merce Minis are now selling STLs of their Darklands line. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Yeah, I've got to get a printer with a bigger plate. It's like an index card size plate that I have. So printing like the 28 millimeter, I can't get much done at a time. And the print times, are ridiculous. When I was doing the little 15 mil stuff for War Master, that comes off. You can put almost like a half an army on that, and it comes off really well. But yeah, anything larger is really slow. Oh, Orcus is saying, yeah, the new Chromebook for Red looks good. That's cool. Sorry, we keep shifting into talking too much about Japan, not tabletop related Japan. Orcus is saying there's some original Japanese offerings according. Oh yeah, to my friend Tristan who lives over there. Maybe Miskatonic Repository though. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's a ton. There's a lot of supplements and things, and I don't know if they're translated or stuff that's done original. But on some of the shelves for certain RPGs, I think like Traveler and Call of Cthulhu and stuff, there's just a ton of books in Japanese language. Mr. Shade says Chris's Twitter is chaotic at best. Nice. I will, yes, Abyss, I promise you I will use the appropriate points cost for all of my miniatures from now on, which means I can't run a full 20 soldier unit of slingers because my goddamn expensive spellcasters. But yeah, hopefully it will go good. Oh, Bill Burr, yeah, I missed you guys talking about Bill Burr. Nice. Yeah, if you have any doubt about Bill Burr's talent. Look up that clip where he was he in Boston or Philadelphia, and he had I think it was like an Opie and Anthony show or something really brutal, and he was just getting booed and heckled, and he just by like wailing on the Eagles or I forget if it was Boston or Philadelphia, but he was just he totally turned a crowd around from just this hostile, like, get off the stage, you suck, to just uproarious laughter. Like he started killing in the midst of just a huge bomb. And that is like insane, stand-up talent. Like just not any of his material, just like going after the crowd and like getting them on his side. That was amazing. It's one of the most amazing stand-up clips. Like it's equal to like the like some of the sets where the comedian is like, intentionally bombing, intentionally trying to walk the room and stuff. Those are always fun. But it was really cool to see that Bill Burr turn around. And he can do a solo podcast, like his I think it was originally Monday morning podcast. I mean, he just does weekly a really good solo podcast. Maybe a little bit too much. I think it's moved into the advice stuff, like he's taking like answering advice emails and stuff. But he can really like, talk. He's a good talker. Nice. Oh, glad I'm watching this after interviewing the husband of the Grogu puppeteer. There's a Grogu puppeteer? I thought it was a little guy in a suit. Oh, man. Oh, it's good. Well, it's good that it's not CG. That's the one good thing. Even though they had to bring... I would have had so much respect. We're back to Mandalorian. I'm sorry because I came back in the chat. So much respect for Mandalorian if they would have given up Grogu and tried to find another, thing to kind of catch on. But maybe the merchandising is just too insane. But yeah, that's funny. The the practical, they do a ton of practical stuff. Abyss says, it was very weird to use the Mothership app where things had to be used in character creation. Oh, an amazing app at odd choices. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I still think the best Star Wars stuff that they've done, and I wasn't a huge... I liked it at the time, but got frustrated with what it did to Star Wars, the Rogue One movie. I was like, okay, this is good. This will be different, and they'll do these little stories. They'll do like trilogies and little offshoot stories, and yeah, that will work. That should be fine. But then going back in, like the effect that Vader scene had in the kind of airlock, him wiping out the rebels, and people just like losing their minds about that, and then the Peter Cushing CG thing. And I think there was even that had a Carrie Fisher thing too, where she says hope in her very computer mouth. Oh man, yeah, of course, yeah, you can't. And I understand that because the sequel trilogies and everything else that they have been producing for Star Wars is unmerchandisable. Like they can't sell figures anymore. I guess there probably are still some hardcore collectors and that want every iteration of a stormtrooper, a sand and a swamp and a beach trooper or whatever. But yeah, I think Grogu is the only thing. And that was funny because they really screwed that thing up by, and I don't know like who was throwing their weight around, but to hide the reveal or to hide that character, they didn't let the toy companies get psyched up for that first Christmas season when they first released what everyone was calling Baby Yoda at that time. So they really blew an entire Christmas season that would have probably been millions of dollars of that character. And of course then all the DIY like 3D printing community and Etsy and everything started cranking out Baby Yoda merchandise because everybody wanted it and the official thing didn't exist. But yeah, it's very funny that the weird kind of botch, and it's just because I think there's a lot of people that don't there's a lot of egos and people that don't know what they're doing, and yeah, it's really weird whatever Sorry, whatever's going on with Disney Lucasfilm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel it's very it's very strange. I'm never gonna have. It's funny because I'm not ever gonna have a big connection to that setting anymore, or that universe, whatever, anymore. And new content is not going to be very exciting. I kind of want to keep an eye out just in case something like Andor pops up again. But the thing that's really disturbing is I haven't been able. I had 2 opportunities with 2 separate kids to pass on an interest in Star Wars, and I think a lot of people like my age and generation had that. So the prequel trilogies came out when my oldest daughter was young, and now the sequel trilogies, and both of my kids are very anti-Star Wars. The first thing I think my 5-year-old, my youngest, said when I was showing her Star Wars is, she's a princess. Princesses don't have guns. Why does she have a gun? She's not a princess. If she's got a gun, she's not a princess. That was her whole image of. She had this princess image, and Princess Leia blew that, not in a good way, not in a liberating feminist way, but blew her image of princess. So she said, "Princesses don't have guns. I don't want anything to do with this." Yeah, Grogu. Yeah, when they finally named him, did they do that? They did that like the second, like season 2 of Mandalorian. When they finally named him, I was like, oh, okay. I guess the Yoda clones have never had great, great names. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Orcus, I think that's really true. They want a lone wolf and cub, but they can't. They're not doing it. I mean, they're trying to have a connection between them, but it's like, yeah, there's something very special in that, especially if you're going to have a puppet play that role. Baby Yoda is just too cute and doesn't. I mean, the crazy thing about Lone Wolf and Cub is how hard that kid was, and like, you know, what he saw and how he could endure, you know, whatever they had to go through, like that weird kind of effect that them being alone kind of against this brutal world. I mean, that's like the thing that was so compelling, and how, because I think even in the manga they talk about their journey through hell, like they're walked through hell together. So, you know, this Ronin pushing a cart with this kid that had just seen, you know, people slaughtered and his family die and everything, and just how hard and beyond his age he was, and able, you know, to handle all that. Like that would be a really cool. And they even there was even a good Zatoichi movie where he's like, there's a mother that dies and leaves her baby behind, and he's like sword fighting. He's fighting with his cane sword and holding a baby at the same time. And even that they got that feeling across, I think, better than Disney did. I don't know. That's probably the biggest problem, is they're going back into Disney, or into Star Wars stuff, and looking for stuff they can cherry pick and put into. But they should go back into Kurosawa and, you know, the inspirations, the old serials and stuff, the inspirations that Lucas had, to try to find stuff, instead of just looking at old, you know, the previs for Star Wars and stuff, and pulling designs and stuff out of that. I'm really tired of seeing that. The Ralph McQuarrie designs, you know, just thrown into Star Wars randomly because, oh, those were the original designs. Yeah, that stuff is a little annoying. Oh man. But yeah, but like in dystopian movies, having commercials everywhere with food and sex, but the reality would be Grogu and Mando, like, yes, on every 8 out of 10 billboards. That's great. Abyss. And Orca said, oh yes, I bought many Star Wars Lego sets for my kids, and they had the audacity to want to play with them. Silly children. Legos aren't for playing with. Yeah, that's a funny Sword of the Stranger. Yeah, it's a funny thing about Legos. I learned right away, because I think we did some Disney princess castles, and then right away, okay, now I want to make something, you know, and I want to build a bird or whatever. Like, we spent just hours doing this like ornate castle, and then it just gets pulled apart to make a pink car. Funny. Yeah, I can't believe that $500 Rivendell, new Lord of the Rings set. I can't believe the prices on those things. That's crazy. Yeah, and I think Lego's probably done the best job of capturing, like bridging both the kids still think Legos are awesome, and adults can still spend $1,000 on a Death Star or whatever and build that. Oh man. Yeah, very interesting that they've been so able to do that with licenses and stuff. Keep that going. Yeah, for a while there was Lego was in a lot of trouble. Like they had overextended themselves into so many things that they didn't really have any expertise in, and it was really hurting them. So it's good they've cut down on the amusement parks and the clothing brands and things to try to focus on the thing that they actually do well. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I don't know what it is. We'll have to, next time we're on Discord together, Matt, we'll have to talk through some Mando. I want to hear some positive some positive Mando opinion, because I just can't I don't know. I just can't enjoy it. I can't get excited about it. Just like I don't like how much of it like a waste of time so much of it seems. And I guess that's a problem with all streaming. They don't know what streaming a streaming series is and how it should be paced and things. So it gets a little frustrating, because things that they could probably do in like a couple 2-hour movies, they do in 10 hours, a season that lasts 10 hours. And it's just, not good. Yes. Lego's not meant for them. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Mandalorian looks good. Although they did that same thing with the once they went into the mines, kind of the underground area, everything was so damn dark. I don't think a lot of these shows, maybe because they're shot digitally or something, they have this like weird idea of how dark they can go with some of these scenes. But I think Kenobi had that problem. I mean, I first really noticed that in Game of Thrones, and like the last seasons of Game of Thrones, where things were in total darkness and you have no idea what was going on. But they had a few of those scenes when they're underground and they don't edge light anything or have some things that really can pick out what's going on. So you just have these like I couldn't get a sense of that, spoilers, that like weird, larger, like mechanical beetle insect thing. Couldn't get much of a sense of what the hell that thing even was for most of that episode. They just shot stuff way too dark. And I don't know if that's a symptom of like digital production or whatever, but no one knows how to light anything anymore. And you get these weird, murky scenes. Willow did that. Like there's so many of these streaming shows that just have these like weird, we're underground, so it has to be dark. Well, yeah, but we need to see what the hell's going on. Yeah, Abyss. I hope so too. I hope Andor can maintain its tone. It would be a shame if they get some notes or some pressure that pushes them off into something else, and they have to start including all kinds of Easter eggs and references to stuff. Oh yeah, Abyss, you're right. Yeah, Star Trek. Yeah. The darkening of New Trek is brutal because they want it to be dark and brooding, and even like the ships and everything are so dark. It's so funny. I guess that's the tone they want. But those are really bad too. I don't get that. I'm sure there's somebody that technically understands that, like that could explain what happened, like the relationship between production, post-production, and how they're doing stuff, or just the weird way that lighting directors or cinematographers deal with things now. Or maybe they just have no time to even get lights. They have to shoot these shows so fast, they just get them in there. Oh, yeah. Talking about New Picard. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Matt says, lighting and sound are both a huge problem. They use Tech Collaborative for specific output. When people stream it on their old TVs, it's dark and the voices are hard to understand. Oh, that's right, because they're doing like 5.1 separation, and when you smash that all into like little stereo speakers, and whatever setting you have on your TV, always you have huge. The gunfire is so loud, the music is so loud, and the voices are buried. Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, I've noticed that with sound as well. So yeah, I guess though, like, where they're mixing, like the sound studios where they're mixing this stuff and the places where they screen it, it's like, what? Everybody has a $50,000 projector that they're watching this on, right? It's like, of course, it's going to look exactly like this in everyone's house and on everyone's phone. Yeah, it's really, the technical stuff is it's weird, and it seems like they should have figured it out and kind of come up with better standards, because there has to be, a pretty there, of course, there's probably a range of how people watch things, but kind of a median kind of average setup that they could kind of shoot for. Just like, when they're designing computer games and stuff, they have to go for a mid-range spec. They can't go insane. But yeah, it's a weird thing, and I can't believe, like, the money and all the crazy, overfunding and over greenlighting and over budgeting of streaming shows is going to go away, and they still haven't figured out what a streaming series is. And for some reason, they think it has to be this serial binge thing, that it can't be episodic. I guess because there is no syndication market or anything. Although, who was it? Oh, I think Disney Plus. Yeah, Disney Plus was talking about starting to license stuff. Because they need the money. So we'll see. Oh man. But yeah, I got to get some enjoyment back into watching something. Yeah, there really isn't anything I'm enjoying since Andor ended. That's too bad. But all right, so that will do it for this week. So if you're listening to this on the RSS feed, thank you so much for being a patron, and hopefully this sounds decent and you don't hear all the traffic noises that I'm hearing right now in the background. And and check out the if you're interested in Oathmark, check out the flip through of the book. I pretty much go through all the whole book and the rules, and just kind of show you how everything is laid out in that core book. And there's been several expansions since then that add a lot to that game, and that'll give you a good sense. Chris did a great job in our first battle report. I'm not sure if all of that will stay intact when I edit down that first game, but it should. There shouldn't be any reason not to go through the rules explaining. But yeah, so thank you so much for supporting, and both members and patrons. Appreciate you very much, and we will keep at it with the content. Oh yes, X-Files. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, X-Files is definitely worth revisiting. Yeah, I think Monster of the Week kind of thing. Yeah, they did a good job. Sorry, I keep peeking at the chat, but anyhow, we will be back again next week, hopefully with some more controversial, not just new plastics and recycling plastics. This was the plastic episode. So take care, and see you then. Goodbye.